And we're back in front of our live studio audience.
Yay! Welcome. So glad to have.
So glad. It's so much fun. And viewership, by the way, I saw we're at 80 people now.
Whoa!
So if you know 20 people and we can get into triple digits, then it's only Nielsen rating booms from there. So we need more followers. Like us.
Hey, you know what though? Hey, here's the thing. None of us got fired from our gig like the guys at ESPN did. So at least we got that.
We got renewed for another season. We're on season 2. We got renewed.
Season 2.
You know, we keep multiplying, doubling the audience size.
80 people. 80.
We're glad that you watch anyway.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
But we're going to talk a little about, we covered the American League in Session 1, covered the National League in Session 2. But before we go there, just as a buffer, the World Baseball Classic, what do you think of it?
We talked about that over the weekend. I've watched some of it. I still can't get into it. I don't know why I can't get into it, but I just can't. I watch it and I want to be engaged, but it's on so late at night or so early in the morning.
That's one thing that hurts.
I'll tell you what it is, and
enjoy that.
I really do believe this is what it is, and I see it in the Olympics. I see it, and I'm tired of, and this is the rant of the week, I'm tired of people sitting there talking about how unpatriotic Americans are because we go to Pro Player Stadium or Petco Field and not Pro Player, it's Marlins Stadium or whatever, and I see the Dominican Republic and it's like a soccer game broke out and they're all screaming and yelling and everything, and there's more Puerto Rican people and Dominican people, and then there's this little handful of Americans, and the Americans are so unpatriotic and whatever. For the United States, the World Baseball Classic is spring training preseason baseball. Absolutely. For these other countries, it is the world to them. Beating the United States is the world to them. Beating the Dominican Republic means, wow, they played pretty good and everything like that.
We beat the Dominican Republic.
The most interesting thing that's come out to me in the World Baseball Classic is Cuba failing to get out of the first round. Losing 13-1, okay, to the Netherlands.
Oh, that's it. The coach will never be seen again.
Right, but here's why. Why is that?
Why? Because he'll be somewhere in a prison.
No, I know why.
Oh,
but why is Cuba? What has happened to Cuba?
All the best players are in America playing. They're defected.
Yeah. And they won't let them play.
And they won't let them play. Okay. Well, I kind of understand that. I mean, if you don't want to live in my country, you don't want to play for us. I got that.
Well, I mean, Sean Green's playing for Israel.
Well, that's a little different.
You should see.
Sean Green's family is not being held hostage in a country that he wanted to get out of.
But I don't see, and it's kind of interesting, I don't see...
Sorry about that.
No, I don't see half the Israeli players, and they actually eventually got eliminated. They went 4-0 in the opening round, and now in the round 2, they got eliminated by Japan last night. But very good showing. But none of those players are Israeli. They just happen to be of Jewish descent.
Right.
Yeah. So Cuba sits there and says, you want relations with Cuba? Well, hey, let some of these players. The games aren't in Cuba. A lot of these players would love to play for Cuba.
You think so?
Oh, I really do.
You think they would really love to? I mean, they played with all those guys growing up, so that'd be one thing.
And they play against all those guys every day in their jobs.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, so that makes sense, but still, I can't help but think there's some still resentment toward the Cuban government.
There's a few, but a lot of them don't. They just wanted freedom. They wanted to play baseball in the big leagues,
and they got it.
But they're Cuban. But I'm Cuban.
But the other part of that is. We'll get political if we go too far down that road. Yeah. But that government is still in place that is oppressive of their families back there. So you cannot totally put that away.
But I'll put it, let's go back to the United States. Do you think those American players right now are sitting there thinking, I'm not a Trump supporter, so I don't want to represent this government? Or are they out there playing for their country?
Neither, by the way they're playing. I think.
Well, no, they're in the second round. I mean, they played the Dominican last night. Last night's game, did you see? Oh, baby, Puerto Rico beat the Dominican. That one group, you got like Netherlands and Japan and
you got the group of death over there.
And then you've got Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, Venezuela and Cuba in the United States over here.
Yeah,
playing
that's
those
the group
four.
of death.
Yeah.
So Puerto Rico beat Dominican 3-1 last night. Yachty hits a bomb, a 2-run bomb,
Nelson Cruz
and then threw out a base runner. Did you see the highlights
yeah.
on that? Did you
I
see
saw
Baez?
that happen.
Did you see Baez
Yeah.
on the?
I saw,
He's. I'm not kidding you. Molina throws the guy out, comes out of his crotch, throws it, and Baez sits there and he's getting ready to take the tag, the throw to put the tag. And as he's doing it, he points to Molina, catches the ball, and tags while he's pointing to Molina the whole time. He sat there, he called it before he pointed to him like, yes, caught the ball and put the tag.
That's pretty
It
impressive.
was his
and
game,
that's
and
one
they
thing you
won.
see.
So they are 1-0. Now the Dominican plays the United States tonight, and then Puerto Rico plays the United States tomorrow night.
well, and that's one thing you see with especially the Latin countries I've seen play. They obviously are into it much more, and they're much more flamboyant. Is the only word I can think of.
Well, they started in January to
Right.
get ready for this. The American guys are using this as their spring training.
understand.
Instead of reporting with the Dodgers, I'm reporting to Team USA, which leads us to Dodgers, Yasiel Puig.
Yeah,
You like that segue?
I like that segue. It was kind of quick. I wasn't quite prepared for that.
Oh, did you
segue.
want more World
No,
Baseball Classic?
No, I don't want any more World Baseball Classic.
It's good baseball.
It is good baseball, and I think it's beneficial.
And one other thing which I didn't add, which I really did enjoy, was the way those teams got ready were playing the major league. They basically
Yeah.
just got included into the Grapefruit and Cactus League
Yep,
schedule.
exactly.
Which was kind of
include them, and it's good, and it certainly has increased attendance around at sites this spring.
The Marlins Park had the biggest crowd they've ever had there when USA played them.
Exactly. So I think that's good for baseball. It's good anytime you get that. Moving to National League.
For the people that don't know,
He's got sent down last year, back up again, and I think it's going to make a difference. But I think the Dodgers are going to win it again out west. I think it's going to. I think it comes down to the same two teams. It comes down to the Giants and the Dodgers
in the West.
in the West. And again, it's every year. It seems like nobody else made a move.
Even before we were born,
Yes,
it was the
It
Giants.
was Dodgers and
the
Giants,
Dodgers
right.
in the 50s.
Well, for a while there, the
60s.
Braves were in the West, so they were
Yeah.
they were thrown
We
in
were
there.
already
It was the
born
Dodgers
by
and
We
the
were
Giants.
born by then, yeah.
It was the Dodgers and the Giants.
Well, even when
No,
they
you're
were
right.
winning it, they were winning the
That's true.
division.
They were the West.
They
yeah.
were winning the
They were
West.
in the West.
So,
It's the Dodgers and the Giants. And Corey Seager is hurt right now. He has
they only won the West like 2 years, didn't they?
who? Braves.
Braves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, they won it.
And then they
Then they got moved.
were going to lose
Thankfully.
it, and
then
thankfully the strike
Thankfully.
kept that streak going for them.
Yep.
And then they wound up in the East.
Sounds like a St. Louis fan to me.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going on there. So
One World Series title.
That's
but
okay.
all the divisions, one World Series title. Go on.
again,
I'm
sounds
happy
like
with it.
That's
I'd be happy with 2 or 3, but I'm happy with 1.
Better than
He's like,
none.
Better than none.
Not much.
We can't all be St. Louis. We can all Bob Gibson and Lou Brock and Keith Hernandez and Ozzie Smith on our team.
Or the Marlins.
Or the Marlins. We can't go out and I'm not gonna go there.
Buy 2.
2 World Series
Good
titles.
for them. Two-
Atlanta,
2-1.
one.
Okay, I understand
How long have
you.
they been in Atlanta?
A long time.
A lot longer than the
1966. A long
Marlins
time,
have been in Miami.
That's true.
Right.
All right, can we go on with this?
Let's go- yeah,
let's
let's
go
go
this
away.
way.
That's the
He's not
upper
playing
wave.
for Cuba in the World Baseball Classic.
No.
Oh, that was a few minutes ago.
Yeah, that was. So I don't see that anybody made any changes.
Jose Fernandez isn't playing for him either.
I
know.
He's kind of out of.
I shouldn't have gone there.
You
No,
should not.
no,
have.
no.
I do not see any way that anybody catches one of those two teams for the others. I think they're out of it. So this comes down to those two teams. Who wins that series head to head is probably going to end up winning the West, and I think it'll be the Dodgers again.
Yeah, I like the Dodgers. I mean, I just I don't know.
I'd like
why,
to see
but
Kershaw put it together in the playoffs.
I would.
That would be nice.
It would
that
be
would be
nice.
nice.
It'd be nice.
I mean,
maybe he needs a mental coach to get
I'd like
over
to
it.
see Baumgartner hit a few more bombs. I mean,
I can work that out. I could be his mental coach if you're
And-
looking in your
And
agent.
being
I
a
can
fan
help
of the National League,
does he watch
like,
the show? Is he one of the 70?
He's one of them, I think. I saw him.
70?
But never mind.
79.
No, being a fan of the National League, we all are. I mean,
Well, they play real baseball.
They play real baseball. I think that getting the chance to see Kershaw or Bumgarner. The thing I cannot afford the baseball package. I can't afford whatever it costs to get it. But to the games of the week when you get to see those guys pitch, it just is so awesome. I mean, I love the National League, and I love Bumgarner. I think he's great, but I'm a big Kershaw fan. I think the Dodgers win the West.
Should be good. What do you think about Central? Your
The Cardinals.
Your beloved Cardinals.
They picked up Dexter Fowler.
You think they're going to be able to make up the ground on the Cubbies?
I like the Cubbies.
Whoa.
I'll tell you. I'll tell
Whoa, folks, forget the earlier rant. This is the rant of the day.
One,
This man
two,
just
three,
said,
four.
I like the
you.
Cubbies.
Let me rephrase that then. Okay, I like the Cardinals,
got the blue on
but
there.
I believe the Cubs, and I thought the Cubs were going to win it last year.
You
I didn't
did.
say,
But you
and,
did
and,
pick the
and- but
Cardinals.
why's the difference?
Why?
What have the Cubs done differently than they have in the last 100 years?
They hired a general manager that knew how to build something.
And they hired a manager that knew how to use
manage.
the talent. Joe Madden, okay?
He's a difference
And I
maker.
said it last year, Joe Madden is the difference that's going to put this team over the top. Did I think they win the World Series? No. But he's still there the last time I checked.
Last year was only the second year ever of being a baseball fan that I predicted the team go from the beginning to the end and win it all, which was the Cubs. I picked the Braves. Because I pick the Braves every single year to do that, but that's a whole different thing. But the Cubs, even losing Fowler, I still think they're the elite of the Central.
They can afford. They had 5 outfielders.
Yeah, they
They had 5 outfielders.
And can Schwarber do anything? I mean, it's gonna be
If he,
interesting.
if he stays healthy, I
Yeah.
think they win it. I think the Cardinals have a shot to get a run at
Me
them
too.
and to make it close. And I think the Cardinals will be the wild card team. But I don't.
Pirates?
No, Pirates. No. Pirates were 20-something games behind last year. They didn't do anything to make up 20 games.
Nobody did anything. That's the whole thing. This was to me I said it before in the show, the quietest off season I can remember.
Nobody made
any moves.
Maybe it was just that nobody was available. Maybe
The Braves got Brandon Phillips.
maybe no great free. I don't think there was.
They got
very many-
Bartolo Colon.
We got Bartolo Colon,
R.A. Dickey too.
which
And
moves us to
R.A.
the
Dickey.
east, by the way.
The Braves have added some solid pitching
They
in
have.
Bartolo Colon and R.A. Dickey.
Well, he's
Is
probably
this
more
too-
probably spongy.
Yeah.
pitching, 'cause
Is this
Bartolo's kinda
1999?
thick.
Yes, with Bartolo.
Yeah, he's gonna.
Or with R.A. Dickey?
Well, he's a
42,
knuckleballer, so
42
you
years
you can keep throwing those knuckleballs to your 80. I think as
So
long as they
R.A.
can roll you out in a wheelchair.
I saw R.A. Dickey pitch with Team USA against Australia in San Antonio in 1995. That's how
Was he throwing fastball back
he
then?
was. No, he was
Still
nothing.
knuckleballer then?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can keep throwing that
I
thing
want to say he
forever.
pitched at Texas. He pitched at one of the Texas schools. Rice.
I don't
Jose
remember.
Cruz Jr.
Yep.
was on that team, and the guy with the Astros. What was his name?
The-
Bert. All these guys are all retired now. One of the Killer Bees.
Bagwell?
Well,
No, it was
Biggio.
Lance Berkman.
Berkman. That's Berkman. Yeah.
Remember Berkman?
Yeah.
It was
Washington.
Berkman
he's-
and Jose Cruz Jr. He was supposed to have been a star.
Oh, yeah, he was. I
just
remember.
Totally fizzed out.
Okay, let's move
bunch
on
of
to
his
the
rookie
east.
cards.
Who else is
The
going to
Nationals. I think it's the Nationals all the way. I mean, I don't see anybody. It's not going to be Atlanta. I mean, it's
Definitely not going to be Atlanta.
And the Marlins, the question we asked last year and the question we ask every year: can Mr. Stanton stay healthy for a complete season?
The answer is no.
But you've got to, pitching wise, those young arms got better.
Mm-hmm.
Pitching wise, they lost the best pitcher, one of the top 3 pitchers in the National League.
Yeah, tragically.
Because tragically, and everyone looks at it. Well, they lost him last year during the season. They lost him right before his last start in September. So
Yeah.
they had him the entire season, and so you're basically looking at your leader in ERA, your leader in wins, your lead, and it's
Yeah, I don't think the Marlins can
they
overcome
can't
that
make
this
him
year.
up. Oh no.
But I do think that the Mets will jump the Nationals this year.
Wow. Explain your logic there, because I don't see that at all.
I think the Mets' arms will be better this year than they were last year, and I think that you will have some guys that hit. I think Cespedes will be more comfortable in his role as the leader of that team, and that other people will hit better around him.
Will Cespedes be playing for Cuba in the next World Baseball Classic?
If we go there again, I'm going to punch you. I don't care whether he plays for Cuba or not. I'm not Cuban. You may because you are, but I'm not.
I don't think they're going to let him.
No, I don't think so either. But I think the Mets win. I think the Nationals are the other wild card team, and I think it ends up being the Cubbies again. I don't see anybody catching them.
That I was going to go to Chicago again. I feel like I'm putting the hex on them, but that's why I picked the Cubs. I really think they can do it again. Unless what's be interesting is when the trade deadline comes down to it, if someone's close to them, do they go out and make a big move? Because last year it didn't. Something they're not spending money. And you to win, I think, as we all know from the Marlins, you've got to go out and spend money to have a chance to win. You can develop players, that's great, but to win in the short term, which is what it boils down to in July, you've got to go out and spend the money. And that didn't happen in the winter, so let's see what happens. But I think I want the Dodgers to win, though, is what I want. I think the Cubs are going to do it.
You heard it here. Cubs. I like Joe Madden. I like Dusty Baker a little bit more. The Washington Nationals.
Wow.
Okay.
All right, we'll see how that plays out. during the
Washington
year.
Nationals.
What do you think? Let us know. We want to hear what you have to say. Who do you think is going to win it this year?
Write it down there. You know, I was looking at it, all of it, and I just looked at the thing and goes, nobody did anything to change
They didn't.
the way they finished last year. It will come down to some guys having better years for some other teams who finishes third, fourth, and fifth. But I didn't see anybody make enough jump to say this is going to be the year where these guys get it done. And maybe that's a year away.
I'm with you.
For the Braves, it's a decade away. We're back to
You
that.
know what's interesting
Or
with the
longer.
Nationals is the Rays. Okay, and I just had them a second ago. The Rays, the Rockies, the Padres, the Nationals, I think, and the Astros. The only franchises to not have World Series championships.
But sorry, one thing. Padres did try several years ago to build a team.
The Padres did. The
It didn't
Astros
work
were.
out.
The Astros were in a World Series. The Padres were in a World Series in
didn't
'84
win it.
and lost to the. To
The Rays
Tigers.
haven't been in one, right?
What?
The Rays were.
The Rays were in one and lost to the Phillies. Remember?
right.
Yep, that's right.
The Rays
and
have
the
been in
Phillies.
one.
So they've all
But
been in
Joe
one,
Madden.
except for the Nationals.
The Nationals Expos have never been in the World Series.
They never were in the World Series as the Expos?
They
No,
have
because it's
never
strike.
been in.
They
They
might
have
have been.
never been in the World Series.
Wow. Well,
might-
maybe
Only
this will be-
franchise, which is the interesting, which is the neat thing.
Maybe this will be the year. Now, next week we'll be gone. Spring break around here, so we won't be taping next week. So we'll see you back in 2 weeks. Until then, if it's warm where you are, go out and play ball. If it's not warm where you are, watch the World Baseball Classic on TV because it's the only thing on right now.
Break
And
out
if you
Apple,
want,
break out Apple.
talk about like Bob said, talk about who you think is going to
We
win
wanna
there and
know.
everything. And also, if you want tickets to participate and be part of the live studio audience, we can make
Email
them
us.
available.
Email us.
Email
Email
us
us.
right there, and we can get you tickets, and you guys can be part. Actually, maybe we can start taking questions from the audience
That'd be
or anything
awesome.
like that. Right now, all the audience does is pretty much just applaud at the end of every segment, and that's where we've gotten to right now.
Play ball. Good to see you.